You always hear about Jack Wilshere or Wayne Rooney, but actually, what's happened to the other thousands of boys that you've said, oh, you're going to be a professional footballer, and then you just take their dream away from them like that, and then you don't help them, you don't give them any tools to get by in life, and then that's it.
This is Max Noble. At age 15, he represented Wales in the Victory Shield, playing alongside Arsenal's Aaron Ramsey. The competition is played between the 4 home nations who send their best under-16 talent to compete for the trophy.
Max Noble, one of the English-born players in the side, has won a penalty. First chance he's really had to run inside the England penalty area, and he's been rewarded.
At the time, Max was training with Wimbledon and was a highly regarded prospect.
They're hanging on in there, and that's the most important thing. And that's their danger man for me. The man who got the penalty, Noble. They can get the ball to him in the hole. He can cause England some damage.
England ended up winning the game 5-1 with a hat-trick from Liverpool's Daniel Sturridge.
And that is a wonderful goal. Daniel Sturridge gives England the lead.
But while Sturridge prepares to represent England at this summer's World Cup in Brazil, Max suffered a string of knee injuries and is now playing for Tooting and Mitcham in the 8th tier of English football.
No, I haven't always been a semi-professional footballer. I was a professional footballer most of my life. I was injured and I had surgery and I couldn't play for 3 years. But before that I was at Fulham and I was playing for Wales under-21s. And as I signed there, I'd agreed a 2.5-year pro contract, and when it came to the time where I had to sign my pro contract, I wasn't enjoying it. Obviously when you're young and you're just in that environment, maybe you don't appreciate it as much, but the people that you'd work with are just turning what I love into something where I'm nervous to come into, or I don't appreciate it, or I don't want to come in because I'm nervous or I'm scared what someone's going to say to me or how people treat you, so I turned the contract down.
Do most young footballers know that it's not always going to work out for them? Is it something they're aware of, or do they maybe have tunnel vision and only see it working out the way they want it to?
No, of course not. You do have tunnel vision when you're a young footballer, but you should have your passion, your focus on one thing, and you should think, this is my dream, I'm going to achieve this dream. The problem is that people in the game who are supposed to be men and they're supposed to support you and help you and guide you through as a youngster, they don't do it. So why can you play for Arsenal or Man United and then a year later, 2 years later, you're not playing football? It can't be the case.
At Tooting and Mitcham, the average attendances are around 200 or 300. This game against Faversham is the final home match of the season. Max doesn't play because of a knee injury. We came to Max's former club to speak to Lewis Nedio, who is in charge of the boys' education here. We asked him what Fulham do to prepare them for life outside football.
We offer sexual health education, for example. We offer workshops, sexual health education, driving, social network sessions with people that is linked to the Metropolitan Police, and actually can talk to the boys about the dangers and what they're going to be exposed to.
As for the academics, there is a definite focus to what Fulham offers.
You don't see that many I want to become a financial advisor or but even the ones that, and you find those kids, because some of the kids are very bright. We try to support in different ways. You're trying to become a footballer, it's your main target at the moment. They learn and they go through the process as well. So I do feel that I'm very strong about the sports science degree that we offer. It's linked what they're doing every single day, and at this moment of their life probably is the best option.
But Luis admitted to us that the success rate for academy entrants is not high.
It's so unpredictable in football, like injuries, different managers, circumstances change in 2 weeks. It's really hard for it to say and give a number exactly. But if you look to all academies in the country and you look at the number of the players playing there, it's very small percentage that will go through.
The transition is difficult for any player,
And it's the PFA, the Players' Union, that deal with this high dropout rate.
The attrition rate, the fallout rate of youngsters who go into football is very, very high, something like 85%. And obviously the PFA was very, very conscious of the fact that players, if they didn't make it, they had to have something to fall back on. It's very difficult because obviously the football team wants to educate them about sport, about fitness, about nutrition. But I would agree that sometimes, you need to extend that so that the more academic players or players who are more vocational do have an opportunity to study in that regard. But I think there is scope to be able to do that.
One place where that happens is the Aspire Academy. It's run by Gavin Rose, manager of Dulwich Hamlet FC, and takes in players cast aside by the academy system. They work with local colleges to provide a broader education for their players. He told us that Fulham's approach is not unusual.
It's hard because the people in charge at Fulham, I know them personally, and I think they're very much doing what everyone else is sort of doing across the board. I think sports science is obviously, it's too narrow, It's not every single person wants to be in that field, you know what I mean? It's only so far that can mushroom out to, I mean, a sports scientist isn't going to be a lawyer. The football is obviously a carrot because the boys love their football. They're obviously very talented. The Aspire Academy, we sometimes will use that as, look, schoolwork ain't quite right. Let's get to the bottom of why it ain't right, and also the football might have to take a back seat until you get back on the horse, to say.
Do you think that's a philosophy that most Premier League clubs adopt?
No. I think football is all geared to the here and now. So I think a lot of that gets geared towards preparing them for that, and they don't probably have the time or probably don't see the importance of an education outside of it.
The focus for football clubs will always be to produce the next biggest star. It seems that education is now on the agenda, but whether clubs should be doing more to prepare their players for a life outside of football remains a debate. Morgan Hammond reporting.